Not so I thought, pal. Good evening, everyone. I'm Virginia Crosbie. I'm the MP for Ynys in North Wales. I'm the first Conservative for 32 years.
Yay!
I'm the first woman for over 70 years. Like most women, I didn't think about becoming an MP, and it wasn't until somebody actually mentioned it to me, Baroness and Jenkin, that I realised I could use my life's experiences as an opportunity to help others and have a second career. Now, being an MP, it really is a privilege, it's a responsibility, but it's the hardest job that I have ever done. But I genuinely believe that I'm doing the job that I was born to do. So the best parts of my journey, I think, are all the people that reached out to help me and all the friends that I've made along the way. It really is a team effort, and my success is their success. And I'd like to thank all of those that helped get me over the line. And in particular, I'd like to thank the Women to Win team. Thank you very much, Diolch yn fawr. Now, Theresa, I have a question from Emily Payne, and she would like your advice. She is a Conservative councillor in Westminster City, and she stood in Newcastle Central in December. And her question, Emily's question is, CCHQ, Conservative Central Headquarters, has got a long list of candidates. How can people stand out? What would be your top tips for standing out on this list? Thank you.
Well, I think I have to say my top tip for standing out on the list, but it's important to stand out to associations. It's not just about standing out to CCHQ, is actually to do as much as you can. Now, at the moment with COVID, it's difficult, but once we're able to campaign, get out there campaigning, support other associations, look for opportunities to be able to speak at other associations. You know, often associations branches are looking out for speakers. They don't have to be elected members of parliament. They can be candidates. So look out for those opportunities, push CCHQ for some of those opportunities, but crucially, actually show yourself somebody who's willing to do the groundwork, the campaigning work, getting out there. And that's about getting around various associations when there are campaigns, when there are the elections next May, ideal opportunity.
Excellent, thank you. So Emily, I look forward to welcoming you to Ynys to give a speech to our association and to have a lot of campaigning, and I'm sure you'll be welcome all over the country by other associations. It's now my privilege to hand over to a very good friend of mine, a fantastic MP, Miriam Cates, who's the new MP for Penistone and Stocksbridge. Thank you.
Virginia. And as Virginia said, I am the Member of Parliament for Penistone and Stocksbridge. And I think I was the first Conservative MP in South Yorkshire for nearly 30 years. So another great win for the party. I think, like an awful lot of women MPs, I would not be in Parliament if it wasn't for Women to Win, and particularly Anne Jenkin and Virginia Crosbie. So I joined the party and ended up at a conference in 2018. I bumped into Anne Jenkin and Virginia Crosbie, and 3 weeks later, I was the parliamentary candidate for my local seat. And when I tell people I met Anne Jenkin, they're not surprised at that story. But during that 3 weeks, I was offered the most incredible support. I knew nothing about the party and how selection processes happen. So help with my PAB, help with my selection speech, networking opportunities with other people who had more experience. And of course, that support continued all the way through my candidacy and through the election. And I think the amazing thing about Women to Win, which has been spoken about tonight, is that it's not just about an arbitrary quota or saying that women should be MPs because they're better than men or different to men. It's about understanding what makes women successful. So the personal support, the emotional support, the help to network, the encouragement, not just for us, but for our families, because of course that's so important. And as I've been an MP for nearly a year, that support has kept going. And again, that's really important because being elected isn't the end goal. It's about being a good MP, being a good representative, being able to be in it for the long haul, because we want people to stand again. So I am so, so grateful to Anne and Virginia particularly, and all the team at Women to Win. I know I wouldn't be here without you, and it's a real privilege to be at the 15th anniversary, and here's the next 15 years. So I've got a question from Hannah Kiziala for you, Theresa. Does your university and/or degree matter when it comes to succeeding in politics?
Well, can I first of all say I went to Penistone and Stockbridge in the 2017 general election, and we'd hoped to win it and we didn't. So well done for winning it in 2019. And to Hannah's question, actually, no, it makes no difference at all what you've done at university or even if you've been to university. And I think this is one of the things I'm sometimes asked when I go into schools. I suspect other MPs are, what subjects, would it be good to do if you want to become a member of parliament? And I say, do the subjects you're interested in, that you're good at, that you're interested in, because it actually doesn't matter what you do. I read geography at university. Lots of people read PPE, but I read geography. There are historians. Boris Johnson's a classicist. It doesn't matter what you do at university, but crucially, it doesn't matter if you haven't been to university as well. So, if you've got the desire, the urge, the passion to be a member of parliament, then come along and join us.
Keegan.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Miriam. I'm Gillian Keegan. I'm the Member of Parliament for Chichester. And I'd just like to thank both Theresa and Anne for your leadership, because just listening to everything that Stephen said, I mean, you've really taken your place in history as really basically bringing most of us here. And, it's not to be underestimated when it's less fashionable to start that journey. So I really do want to thank you both, because all of us probably wouldn't be here. I'm another one, Anne. She asked me to stand. I met her in the theatre. I mean, this woman's everywhere. I'd worked for a long time. I was kind of confident in the world of business, but it's completely different. Navigating your way in the world of politics, there is just nothing like it. So for me, I wouldn't have even dreamed of taking the first step on that journey without Women to Win. So never underestimate the value of what you do, because none of us would really be here, I'm pretty sure, without you. It's an amazing job. I absolutely love it. I'm very proud to be the first female MP for Chichester, and they've been sending somebody somewhere for 743 years before that. So it did take them a little while, and I certainly think the association probably took a bit of time to catch up. I'm also very proud to be the first apprentice who is the apprenticeship and skills minister. And I think that's another thing, the Women to Win, not only is it diversity, bring more women's voices, but it's actually diversity, bringing women and just providing those rungs on the ladder for everybody to get into the party, no matter where you come from. In my case, Knowsley, which is not quite as conservative as it was during your speech, Stephen. I'm glad to see it was at some point in its life. I have a question, Theresa, submitted by Janice Sylvester Hall. And she says, evidence from Scotland, Wales and council selections to date for May's election coming up next year show fewer women are getting through. What do you think can be done to ensure we do not start to slip backwards in regards to the number of elected female councillors, MPs and members of regional parliaments?
Well, thank you. Thanks very much for that question. Before I answer the question, though, can I just pick up a couple of points that you made, Gillian? First of all, I should say, although I co-founded Women to Win with Anne Jenkin, I then went on to do one or two other things. And Anne has been keeping this going and keeping the flame going throughout with her enormous enthusiasm and energy, which I think everybody's in awe of your energy, Anne, and it's fantastic. So thank you. And also you said about, and it's interesting because you've said this and we've heard previously about sort of the tap on the shoulder, somebody saying to you, have you thought about this? That's one of the differences, I think, between men and women. Men are much more likely to think, I want to be an MP and I'm going to go out there and try and do it. And women might think about it, but wait for somebody to say to them, I think you could do it. And it's so important if somebody is out there, a woman is out there who's thinking about this, don't wait for somebody to tap you on your shoulder. Put yourself forward for it. But sadly, as we've just heard, some of the women who are putting themselves forward, not getting through into selections. And this is why Women to Win is so important, and continuing Women to Win is so important, because we're not yet at a point where we can take the foot off the brake and say it will happen naturally. So we have to continue providing that support to women. And also, I just think this year as well has been so different and difficult with the COVID pandemic. No political campaigning of the normal sort. It's the longest period in my life since I was sort of able to knock on doors and canvass that I haven't knocked on a door and asked somebody how they're voting. So it is that very strange thing. And I think during this period, a lot of women probably have found it more difficult to get that support to come forward and to be selected. So, but it just means we need to redouble our efforts, and all of us do that and support women at local level.
Thank you very much. I now want to introduce the man who